Welcome to another episode of Management Unplugged by GR. Get ready to dive into a fascinating real-world business dilemma that might just change the way you look at your own bank.
Yeah, today we're unpacking a situation that really highlights the ever-evolving landscape of retail banking. And it raises a pretty fundamental question, actually, about how banks, how they truly connect with their customers. It's kind of a classic case, An executive has this spontaneous insight, and suddenly it sparks this really crucial strategic inquiry, something that echoes across the whole financial services industry, really.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive then is to follow the journey of this sharp banking executive, Nils Baker. We're going to see how just a simple conversation on a plane, of all places, leads him to question the very foundation of his bank's strategy.
Which is?
Do physical branches still matter? Like, at all? For attracting and keeping customers. Okay, let's unpack this. So let's paint the picture. Our main character here is Nils Baker. He's a vice president at a large regional retail bank in the United States.
Right.
And he's not quite your typical, buttoned up executive you might picture sitting in some sterile office all day.
Okay.
Nils has this really unusual, almost quirky habit, but apparently it's incredibly effective. He absolutely loves talking to strangers.
Really? Just random people.
Yeah, but not just about, the weather or where they're flying. No, he gets right down to it. He asks them about their banking needs, their habits, what drives them crazy about their bank, what they wish their bank offered.
Huh. So it's like spontaneous focus groups.
Exactly. Think of it like that. On the go. Market research in the wild.
That's definitely unconventional for someone at his level, I'd say. But it does speak volumes, doesn't it? About his desire for genuine, unfiltered insights.
Totally.
I mean, companies spend millions on formal market research, right?
Yeah.
Surveys, carefully curated focus groups. And here's Nils, just gathering his own grassroots intelligence.
Yeah, just chatting on planes.
He's leveraging these chance encounters to get firsthand accounts from the people who actually use banking services, trying to cut through the noise, understand the real pain points, the real desires of everyday customers.
And all with the goal of making his bank's stuff better, more relevant.
Exactly. It's not just idle small talk for him. It's a very deliberate, even if it seems casual, form of on-the-ground market intelligence.
And it's precisely this habit, this tendency to chat that sets the scene for our whole story today.
Okay.
So Nils is on a U.S. Airways flight. He's somewhere over the Atlantic, flying from Philadelphia, PA, to Lisbon, Portugal.
Long flight.
Yeah. And he's probably just, relaxing, maybe listening to the engine hum. And he notices the middle-aged woman sitting next to him. She seems a bit agitated, flustered, maybe muttering to herself a bit.
Ah, okay. I think I see where this is going.
And like clockwork, she starts to complain. And for Nils, that's his cue. Ding, ding, ding.
Right. And Nils, being the attentive listener he is, he immediately tunes in. He's probably thinking, okay, here's another chance for one of those insightful conversations. He's ready to absorb, to learn, maybe find another piece of that big puzzle of consumer banking behavior.
The stage is perfectly set, really, for an unexpected lesson, one that could genuinely reshape how his bank thinks about things.
And it sounds like it did. What was her issue?
Well, the woman next to Nils was clearly frustrated. Her main complaint: the sheer difficulty she had trying to buy euros at her local bank before her trip.
The foreign currency issue.
Yeah. You're getting ready for a big trip. You just want a little pocket change, right? Enough for a taxi, maybe a coffee when you land. And her bank just didn't carry them, or didn't make it easy. A simple request, you'd think, but it turned into this massive headache for her.
It's surprisingly common, actually, especially for banks that aren't maybe super focused on international services or don't operate globally. So her bank didn't have the currency, maybe didn't make it easy to order, and that forced her into this really inconvenient workaround. She had to withdraw dollars.
U.S. dollars.
And then exchange them for euros only after she arrived in Europe, which isn't just annoying, it's a real cost, right? Both in time and, more importantly, probably in bad exchange rates.
Oh, and a very expensive one, apparently.
Oh.
She specifically complained about exchanging just $100 at the airport, and she described the rate as, quote, outrageous.
Airport exchange kiosks. The worst.
Seriously. We've all been there, haven't we? That feeling of just being completely nickeled and dimed when all you want is some local cash. You feel trapped, like you have no choice but to accept whatever terrible rate they give you because you need it right then.
Yeah, that convenience fee, that feels anything but convenient. Her frustration sounds totally understandable.
Absolutely. It was palpable, apparently.
So that's where Nils steps in, presumably.
But subtly, he didn't reveal he worked for her specific bank. He was too smart for that kind of awkward sales pitch on a plane. But he did casually mention that, well, his bank could have solved her problem quite easily. And this is where the contrast in service really comes through.
How so?
His bank offered a dedicated toll-free number. Customers could just call up and buy foreign currency right over the phone.
Okay, that's already better. More customer focus for travelers.
And here's the kicker for her. He assured her it was at a very competitive rate, which, would sound amazing compared to her outrageous airport experience.
Definitely. But how would she get the cash?
Good question. The convenience didn't stop there. His bank offered 2 delivery options. They could ship the currency to her local branch for just a nominal fee, he said, so she could pick it up somewhere familiar.
Okay, that's handy.
Or, for a, quote, substantially higher cost, they could deliver it directly to her via secure courier mail, like right to her doorstep.
Wow, okay. Options are good.
And he even proactively asked if she'd consider opening an account, mentioning other convenient services his bank had, thinking like a sharp business developer, but genuinely trying to solve her immediate problem first.
Smart. And was she interested?
She was. She indicated she might actually consider opening an account, which, is a pretty big win for a random chat on a plane.
Definitely.
But it was her next comment, specifically about getting those euros, that really, really grabbed Nils's attention. It made him stop and think.
Oh, what did she say?
She stated flat out that she did not intend to use the courier delivery service, despite the convenience, right to her door.
Okay.
She said she preferred to pick the euros up at her local branch.
Huh. Interesting. Even with the direct delivery option, she still wanted the branch.
Exactly. That was the pivotal moment, this tiny flicker of insight that maybe lit up something much bigger.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Because you got this whole conversation about convenience, competitive rates, phone ordering, even secure delivery.
Right to your house.
And what does she zero in on? Picking it up at a physical branch.
It feels almost counterintuitive, doesn't it, in our world, which is just getting more and more digital.
Totally. We keep hearing that brick and mortar is dying, everything's online, digital is king.
And yet, here's this customer offered all these slick, modern solutions, and her comfort zone, her preference, it's rooted in the tangible, the physical presence of a bank branch.
It makes you wonder, was she just an outlier? Or did this reveal something deeper about how customers think?
That's exactly what Nils wondered.
Yeah, that preference, even though it seems small, maybe just an afterthought in her reply, it clearly resonated deeply with Nils. It wasn't just about the transaction being hard or the rate being bad. It was about the method of fulfillment. That's what mattered most to her.
How, not just the what's.
Precisely. It hinted at something deeper than just wanting digital convenience. It suggested that maybe for certain services or, for certain types of customers, the physical branch might still play this really crucial, maybe even foundational role.
Like for building trust? Or reassurance?
Exactly. Or handling transactions that feel important or sensitive. It wasn't just about pure efficiency for her. It seemed more about comfort, maybe perceived security. Needing that human touch point in an increasingly digital world.
Wow. So this single comment, this seemingly minor detail about picking up euros, it didn't just stick with Nils. It kind of exploded in his mind, right, into this huge strategic question.
Yeah, he started really pondering, does the presence of a physical bank branch actually create demand for our checking accounts?
That's a huge leap. He's not just asking if branches are useful for people who are already customers.
No. He's asking if they're actively generating business, if they're a magnet for new customers. Specifically for something as basic and core as a checking account.
And this wasn't just some idle thought experiment for him either, was it?
No, not at all. The timing was actually perfect.
What?
Or maybe serendipitous. He was scheduled to attend a meeting with the Personal Account Services Group, the PAS group, pretty much as soon as he got back from Lisbon.
And they handle checking accounts.
Exactly. They deal directly with those core customer accounts. So this question wasn't just academic curiosity. It was directly relevant to a very real, very upcoming strategic discussion for his own department.
Okay, so it suddenly felt urgent.
Absolutely. It added this immediate, urgent layer to his insight, gave him a really powerful agenda item to bring to that meeting.
And Nils, clearly being a man of action, he didn't just sit on this thought, did he?
Not a chance. He was worried he might forget the idea, Or the jet lag would fuzzy it up. It would just disappear into all his other responsibilities.
We've all had those brilliant shower thoughts that vanished 2 minutes later.
Exactly. So right there, 30,000 feet over the Atlantic, He pulls out his laptop, opens it up, and immediately fires off an email.
No procrastination there. Seizing the moment, striking while the idea is hot.
It really speaks to his proactive nature, doesn't it?
Mm.
And his dedication to actually using these insights as soon as they pop up. He wanted to make sure this valuable, spontaneous thought didn't just get lost.
So what did the email say?
Well, the gist of it, sent to one of his associates in the PAS group, a woman named Anna Gruer, it basically captured his core question perfectly. He wrote something like, and I'm paraphrasing a bit here for clarity, "Greetings from 30,000 feet over the Atlantic.
Nice touch.
I was thinking about our upcoming PAS meeting. And here's an interesting question. Is the presence of a physical bank branch actually creating demand for checking accounts?"
Yeah.
Intuitively, you'd think it should, right? But could you check? See if the data actually support this.
Oh, wow. Direct, clear, actionable. And he even added a follow-up, right, showing he was still engaged even while traveling.
He did. He told Anna he'd be checking email while he was in Europe and that he wanted a quick summary when she had something. He clearly understood the value of getting good data quickly.
Yeah, this wasn't a get-to-it-when-you-can't task. He needed answers, probably before that big PAS meeting.
Absolutely. And Anna Gruer, on her end, was apparently thrilled to get a request like that.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, for an associate, getting a direct, insightful, urgent query from a VP like Nils Baker, that's a fantastic opportunity, right? A chance to show off her analytical skills and contribute directly to strategy.
For sure. So what did she do?
She got right to work. She started pulling data for 120 different metropolitan statistical areas MSAs.
Okay, so 120 different geographic markets.
Right. And for each one, she gathered a few key pieces of information, the total number of households in that MSA.
Got it.
The number of households that actually held checking accounts with their bank in that MSA.
The bank's market penetration, basically.
Exactly.
Wow.
And crucially, the third piece was, did their bank have a physical branch in that specific area or not?
Ah, the key variable.
Precisely. This granular data would let her compare customer acquisition patterns, see if there was a difference between markets where they had branches and markets where they didn't.
Okay, so let's pause here and just break down some of these terms, make sure everyone's following along.
Yeah.
First off, there's a baseline condition, right? Something true for all 120 of these areas Anna looked at.
Yes, that's important. Every single one of those MSAs contained the bank's ATMs.
Okay, so ATMs everywhere. That's the constant. You could always get cash, check your balance, maybe make a deposit, transfer funds, basic stuff.
Correct. The ATMs provided a baseline level of physical access to the bank's network, no matter which MSA you were in.
Got it. So with ATMs as the given, Anna then split these areas into two main types for her analysis, right?
Exactly. The first category she defined as areas with an inside footprint.
Okay, inside footprint. What does that mean?
Those are the MSAs that, in addition to having the bank's ATMs, also had physical bank locations, actual branches.
Right, brick and mortar.
And what does having a physical branch imply? Beyond just getting cash out, it's more than just a transaction point, isn't it? It's about, well, visible presence, a physical anchor in the community.
Yeah, it signals something. Stability, trust.
Perhaps a sense of trust, maybe greater accessibility for more complex services, like opening those new accounts, applying for loans, talking financial planning, or even
Stepping up euros.
Exactly. Picking up foreign currency. It's a tangible manifestation of the bank's commitment to that area, a place you can actually walk into and talk to a real person.
Okay, so that's the inside footprint, ATMs plus branches. What was the other category?
The other category was areas with an outside footprint.
Makes sense. So these are areas that did not have physical branches of the bank,
Correct.
but as we established, they did still have the bank's ATMs.
Right. So for customers in these outside footprint areas, they could still do a lot of their basic banking. They had the ATM access for cash withdrawals, deposits maybe. They almost certainly had online banking, mobile apps, maybe call centers for certain things.
But no teller window, no office to walk into.
Exactly. No place to sit down face-to-face with someone about an issue, no place to pick up those euros directly. There was no brick-and-mortar presence to interact with, no physical anchor beyond that ATM machine.
That seems like a really crucial distinction for the analysis Anna was about to dig into.
Absolutely fundamental. And with those definitions crystal clear, inside footprint versus outside footprint, Anna was ready to go. The source material even gives this nice little detail. So she got herself a cup of tea with milk.
Huh. Very civilized.
And was getting ready to spend a couple hours working with these data. So, the stage is set. She's got the data. She's got the question. She's got her tea. She's poised to figure out if Nils's hunch was right.
To find out if a physical branch is really a demand driver or if its influence has just faded away in our digital age.
Exactly.
So that's the whole setup. Nils Baker, seasoned exec, random plane chat, leads to this huge, urgent business question. He's basically asking, do physical bank branches actually move the needle when it comes to getting new checking accounts?
Yeah, or are they just expensive relics? Huge cost centers that modern digital banking apps, ubiquitous ATMs, that they just made branches obsolete. It's a massive question for banks, right?
Right.
Where do you put your money? How do you define the customer experience?
Okay, so Anna's got her tea. She's crunching the numbers across these 120 MSAs. What did she find? Did the data support Nils's intuition?
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
And it was pretty striking, actually. After analyzing all that data, controlling for various factors, the numbers showed a statistically significant difference.
Okay.
Metropolitan statistical areas with a physical branch in the inside footprint areas, they showed an average of 18% higher new checking account acquisitions per household compared to the MSAs that only had ATMs, the outside footprint ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
18%. That's not small change.
Not at all. It wasn't just a tiny bump. It was a really substantial increase. And importantly, this held true even when Anna accounted for other things that might influence it, like population density in the area, average household income, how many competitor banks were around.
So it wasn't just that the branches happened to be in like richer or busier areas anyway?
The analysis suggested no. Even after controlling for those factors, the presence of the branch itself seemed to be associated with significantly higher account acquisition. The branch itself appeared to be acting as a magnet.
Okay, that's genuinely fascinating. It flies right in the face of that common narrative, doesn't it? The whole death of the branch thing.
It really does.
So if I'm a bank executive, maybe Nils himself, looking at that 18% number, my first thought is, okay, branches cost a fortune, yes. But maybe the return on investment, just in terms of getting new customers in the door, is actually even higher.
That's exactly the implication. What do you think is driving that 18% difference? Why would a physical building still be such a powerful draw when you could do almost everything on your phone these days?
Good question. My gut says maybe trust. Like seeing a physical building makes the bank feel more real, more stable, especially if you're deciding where to put all your money.
That's definitely a huge part of it. That's the real nugget of insight here, I think. The findings strongly suggest this kind of halo effect from having a physical presence. And trust, or perceived security, is probably number one.
Right.
For many customers, maybe especially when it's about something as fundamental as their main checking account, that physical branch represents stability, permanence. It's a tangible symbol of the bank's commitment.
Like a financial security blanket.
Kind of. Knowing there's a physical place you could go if something goes really wrong, or if you have a super complex issue that provides this deep sense of reassurance, even if day-to-day you hardly ever step foot inside.
Yeah, I can relate to that. My bank's app is great for everyday stuff, paying bills, checking balances. But if I were, I don't know, setting up a trust fund for my kids or maybe discussing a complex business loan, my first instinct would be, I need to actually talk to a person face to face. Is that part of it too?
Absolutely. That's the second key factor, facilitating complex or sensitive transactions.
Oh.
Well, all the basic stuff, checking balances, transferring funds, paying bills that seamlessly moved online for most people. But many customers still prefer, or maybe even require, in-person interaction for the bigger financial decisions.
Like mortgages, investments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Opening a new business account, applying for that mortgage, discussing investment strategies, even just sorting out a really significant account problem. These aren't just simple transactions, they're often conversations. You need personalized advice.
And the branch provides the space for that.
Right. It provides a dedicated professional space for those deeper, more involved financial interactions that maybe don't feel right over a phone call or a chat window.
And it's not just about the transactions themselves, is it? There's also just seeing the branch, like brand visibility.
That's the third point, yeah. Community presence and visibility. A physical branch acts like a permanent advertisement, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's right there on the high street or in the shopping center.
Exactly. Maybe it sponsors the local Little League team or hosts a community shredding day. It becomes part of the local fabric, the local landscape.
Which fosters familiarity, makes the bank seem more approachable maybe, more integrated into your daily life.
Precisely. It can be a powerful, subtle driver when someone's thinking, okay, where should I open my new account? It builds brand equity over time in a way that maybe purely digital ads struggle to replicate for certain people.
And you mentioned certain people. Does this link to maybe generational differences too? Like older folks preferring branches?
That's often part of the discussion, yes. While younger demographics, Gen Z, lots of millennials, they are undoubtedly digital first in many ways. Older demographics might still strongly prefer, or even kind of insist on, having branch access.
Makes sense.
But it's probably an oversimplification to say digital natives never use branches. They might just use them differently. Maybe for that initial account setup, perhaps for specific advisory services later on, or definitely when they hit a problem that a chatbot or FAQ page just can't solve. The option still holds value, even if the usage pattern is different.
Okay, so if Anna's data is showing this clear 18% uplift in new accounts tied to branches, what does this actually mean for a bank's big strategic decisions?
Branches are crazy expensive, right? Real estate, staff, heating, security.
Hugely expensive.
So how do you balance that massive cost against this proven ability to generate demand? Does this mean banks should just, stop closing branches? Maybe even start opening new ones again?
Well, it's probably not about a complete U-turn, like suddenly opening hundreds of new old-style branches everywhere, but it definitely calls for a serious reevaluation of the optimal branch strategy.
The findings suggest that the cost of not having a physical presence in a particular market, well, that cost, measured in lost customer acquisition, might actually be higher than the cost of maintaining some kind of branch presence there.
Wow. Okay. That flips the script.
It really does. It shifts the whole perspective. You stop looking at branches merely as cost centers serving existing customers, and you start seeing them as potentially powerful demand generators for new business.
That's a critical distinction, isn't it? It changes the question from how do we cut branch costs to maybe how do we optimize our branches to drive growth?
Precisely. And that could lead banks towards a more nuanced, more hybrid model.
Hybrid, meaning?
You don't necessarily need those giant full-service branches everywhere like in the old days. Instead, maybe we see smaller, perhaps more technologically advanced branches designed for specific purposes.
Like what?
Maybe a largely self-service hub, but with really advanced ATMs and maybe video links to tellers or specialists. Or perhaps a purely advisory center, no cash handling, just comfortable spaces where customers can meet with financial planners or mortgage advisors for those complex conversations we talked about.
Or even community-focused branches, like you mentioned, hosting workshops, local events, more of a community hub that happens to be a bank.
Exactly. The goal would be to leverage the unique value proposition of physical presence, that trust factor, the personal connection, the ability to handle complex problems while finding ways to streamline the operational costs associated with traditional branches.
So it's really not a simple question of physical or digital anymore, is it? It's much more about how you intelligently integrate the two.
That seems to be the key takeaway.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? How much does just knowing a branch exists in your area actually make a difference to you, the listener, even if you hardly ever, maybe never, actually go inside? Is there that unspoken comfort, that sense of security or trust that just comes from knowing a physical location is there, just in case? This data from Nils's bank, sparked by that one plain conversation, it really suggests that for a significant chunk of customers, that feeling translates directly into new business for the bank.
Indeed. It really forces us to reconsider the psychological impact of brick and mortar. That simple option of a physical location seems to provide a level of comfort and perceived security that purely digital interfaces maybe can't always replicate, especially for that critical first decision, where am I going to trust my money?
Yeah, it's subtle, but sounds like a powerful driver of customer acquisition.
It appears so.
And this isn't just about banking, is it? This question echoes across so many industries right now.
Absolutely. Think about retail. The whole battle between e-commerce and the comeback of experiential physical stores.
Or healthcare. Telemedicine is booming, but you still absolutely need physical clinics and hospitals, right?
Or even education. You've got amazing online learning platforms, but traditional campuses still hold huge appeal.
So the core question is, how much does that physical presence truly matter in our increasingly digital world? What's the hidden value of brick and mortar that you don't see just by counting online transactions or app logins?
Exactly. This isn't just about whether a bank branch turns a profit on its own. It's about the very nature of the customer relationship in the 21st century. How do businesses build trust, build appeal in a world that's constantly pushing us towards the virtual?
It really challenges us and businesses to look beyond those simple surface metrics, doesn't it? To consider the whole customer journey and to recognize that for some people, maybe for many people, the decision to even engage starts with seeing something tangible, something reassuringly physical.
It seems that way. This whole deep dive, starting from Nils's simple chat on a plane, it ultimately reveals that while technology offers incredible convenience, efficiency, that human element, and the comfort of knowing there's a physical touch point, it still holds surprising power. It can still influence fundamental customer decisions.
Food for thought, right. We'll leave you to ponder Nels's big question and how it might apply to the businesses, the services, even the places in your own life. See you later.